in 2011, it was a very important musical year for me. Because to start it didn't start off as good as I wanted it to. I had a singular ticket, to go see Crystal Castles, right? And I'm all for that sort of like trippy electro 90s sort of vibe where everyone's ecstasied out but they're dancing, and it's just a factory of sort of psychedelics and lights and neon, all to the discourse of some sound. Oh man, that just enamors me. I'm just enticed to go for it. But I got sick that day. I got really sick for it. And I was just, fuck it, man. I'm not gonna be able to go. Because it was a biological disposition, sort of. It was yeah, that's as far as I'm gonna describe it. So my sister goes to me and she's like, you should have went and you pussied out. You pussied out. You should have fucking gone. You've missed out on your entire sort of felicity here. The music, the lights, the semi-nudity. Oh, Mario. You pussied out. She's like, me? If that were me, I could have fucking gone to a death metal thrash concert like that. Like Devil Wears Prada. Like, she's like, I could have stood in the fucking wall of death and done nothing, yo. Just done circles on those bitches. I'm like, holy shit. Talking a lot of shit, bro. Talking a lot of shit. I don't think you would have handled all that, because that's like sort of like the stampede from The Lion King. Alright? But if you say so, I mean, fine. Who am I to question you? And she's like, how did it feel like? I'm like, well, since you use a Disney analogy, why not? You remember that feeling in Toy Story that they had, the look upon their face when they were about to go into the furnace and just about to be destroyed, and they just held hands? She's like, yeah. It's like, yeah, that's more or less how I felt. It's like, well, should have still gone. So I buy tickets for me and my friends and my sister to go see. My sister's 14, by the way, and she's already calling me a pussy. So I take her to see Matt and Kim, right? She's an avid Matt and Kim fan. I like Matt and Kim. I love Matt and Kim. But she's avid. She knows the words to their first album. Like, we bought the album, and I was like, it's good instrumentation, good everything, you know? Not great, but it's good. I don't love it as much as, you know, Sidewalks and Grand, but it's a good album. It's solid. She's like, you know what? You're not seeing the true art here. This is their foundation. This is who they are. And I'm like, you are doing that? I believe you. So, we're there, right? We show up a little bit early. A little bit is an hour, you know, before the show starts. And there's a fucking line, alright? We're like in front of a dealership, and then like cars are honking at us to move. There's a bridge we're under. Like there's hobos across the street. I say hobos because I don't assume anyone's homeless. Maybe they already have a home and it's in their hearts. So maybe they're just hobos wandering around New York City. I don't know. So we keep walking and we're standing and everyone has to piss. And it was a unified morphic field sort of pissing feeling. And we're just standing there. We're drinking waters. They tell us we have to throw away our waters. Fine, fuck it. Terminal 5, your rules. Alright, just give us a fucking show. So the gates open at 7. So we're excited. My sister's fucking giddy. We get in there and we're all walking. My sister fucking bum rushes over there. Like she is... That's how somebody should be at a concert, okay? They shouldn't really give a regard for the holy fucking safety of anyone else or their own. They should just fucking go ape shit, right? So, we're at the front. We end up being like about 3 rows from the front. Three sort of sets of people from actually, you know, being able to touch the stage to see the performers incarnate. And oh man, she is just losing her shit. She's like, whoa! And it's like, wow, it just, you know, it's the club music, really. It's nothing. I'm like, alright, fine. if you're that excited for it, shit, I forgot you did that sort of motion and banged on everything when you were talking. So we're standing there. We wait patiently for an hour. And then the DJ comes out. He's like, y'all ready to party? And then 20 minutes of fucking mixes between Dragonette and sort of Violet Femmes. Hello and Blister in the Sun just don't necessarily go in my head together, and it doesn't necessarily go together on stage. I mean, even the Barbra Streisand with the sort of like Journey feel wasn't really working for me. But hey, the chicks who just did not, you know, the ones who are always in the fucking club are just like dancing in their tight dress and then their heels, which I don't condone and I don't recommend for you to do ever. But they know what they wanted their pains to be. So he's like, alright, you all ready? Y'all ready? And then he drops another one with Biggie. And I don't even remember if it was Newfound Glory. But it was just that sort of blend. And I'm like, not really cohesively working collectively. But, okay. One more and I'm just going to fucking throw my shoe at him. So he's like, alright, here's the thermals. And then half the crowd is like ecstatic, but they're mainly in the back. It's like you kind of feel like the thermal fans are not really that punctual about shit. Like they're like, oh fuck man. Dude, we're getting high. And some people that didn't get high before the show were getting high during the show. They were like to the right in the center and they're like passing around a weed blunt. And then they have just one girl they're like semi trying to get to crowd surf. But she's too fucking high and heavy to, like, really lift. And then this guy starts talking to one of my friends. And she's like, this is, you know. Because she was there with her boyfriend. And then this guy's like, dude. She's like, I took, like, 3 ecstasy pills. And then my friend starts laughing. I'm like, what are you laughing at? The show hasn't even started, right? It's just the thermals. It's like a band is on, but the show hasn't really started. That's like sort of like how casual fans... My sister was into them, right? And the guy behind me was really fucking into them. Like, he was power grinding against my back. He was just like... He was just excited as fuck to see the thermals. He was losing his shit. Like, I just remember being like this the whole time. And I wasn't even the one thrusting. And I was trying to keep my distance from the girl in front of me. Because it's just like... She is going to think that this is totally a come-on, but this is not, right? And I made a joke to her about, like, pansexuality between aliens and Torchwood, and she laughed really hard at it. And my friend's like, dude, going for the kill. She's just like, fucking thrust her full weight. Right? And I'm like, you're with your girlfriend. Worry about her and the guy she's talking to who's hopped up on ecstasy. Because those guys don't respect anyone. Alright? I will worry about the thrashing that I am receiving from my backside. And I will not preoccupy myself with, like, reaming this girl. Okay? Jeez, bro. And to my side is my sister. And she's laughing at this whole, like, the exchanges and shit. Because she's 14 hanging out with 20-year-olds. Fuck. You know? That's gotta be somewhat exciting. Even if we're not the most exciting people. So the show finally starts. Matt and Kim on stage. And it's like, whoa! There's like a ruckus, you know, about to like fully erupt. Now the crowd is getting surprisingly tighter and more compact. Right? And they're not fully out yet. Like, they've been announced, but they're not out yet. And so it's just like, we're like tightening up, we're moving closer and closer. I'm like, I wanted to be close to the show, but with, you know, like, all my oxygen still in my body, not necessarily being compressed like an airlock that NASA, you know, experiments on. Not necessarily what I had in mind. So, the show gets quiet for a second. Then you hear the music, and then it fucking erupts, alright? And I just, like, I just tell my sister, Bo, put the camera away and hold my hand. We're about to go swimming. And then we just, like, fucking get flung back and forth. I mean, shit got aggressive. You see the girls in heels that I was telling you about? That this is where heels came, you know, back to bite them in the ass. They were just trying to, like, stay on their legs. They looked like baby giraffes, you know, tumbling and rumbling. I'm like, oh my god. In less than 2 minutes, I was sweating profusely. And so was everyone else, because this show just erupted. No time for cameras. And then, like, you see, like, a couple of cameras flashing, but it's all discombobulated. Like, the image you try to see, it's, like, sort of, like, strobe lights, really. I'm like, oh, my God. And then they throw balloons, and then everyone's just, like, hitting them, and they're like, and then you just, like, boom, boom, and then you try to keep... I'm like, Bo, keep one. Don't blow it up. That's memorabilia. And she's just like, okay. She's like all compressed and shit. And this show is just like getting violenter and violenter by the second. But more exciting really for her. Because she's just yelling out at every song. My voice is coarse at this point. And she is just yelling and yelling and yelling and thriving under this sort of like conditions. Oh man, I'm just like, fuck me. Not what I expected this to be. Right? That's why you don't need to go into expectations to anything. Just let it be. So this interlude comes in, and the female, Kim, Matt and Kim, so yes, the female, Kim, she tells all the guys, take off your shirts and swing them around. And I'm fat, right? And I'm just not like, under normal conditions, I do not fall this susceptible to peer pressure. I don't listen to, like, any sort of, like, leader. I fucking derobe as fast as you can say. I'm swinging my shirt around my head, and I'm like, woo! And all the other guys are doing it, too, and we smell horrible. Okay? I've never walked into, like, a chicken slaughterhouse with the sole intent of being like, that's the smell I want. Multiplied by 1,000,000. Yes. So that's what radiates from us. I'm like, I don't want to keep swinging. It works as a ventilation shaft. And then I put it back on backwards, and I am drenched in sweat. Alright? I look like a Giorgio Armani model with all the, like, clothing wet and just, like, coming out of the ocean. And that's how I'm moving and dancing now. It's like I don't look like him, but, yeah. Everything else so far, it correlates. And then boom, the show ends. And my sister is like, and she's fucking bruised, right? She should be. She's small. And she's just like, I don't want to go to a death metal concert. I'm like, you were talking shit that you could. We're gonna go see Bring Me the Horizon next, okay? She's like, please don't. I want to never be punched in the hip again. And I'm like, so you would not see them again? It's like, I didn't say all of that. I just said I don't want to be punched in the hip again. Because I didn't know that there were people smaller than me in attendance. You mean in age? No, in height. I just don't want to be punched again. But we had to come back to see them. And we nearly did on New Year's. But then we got sick again. Now she knows what it's like.